from this side.
So thank you all for joining. And sprouts are going to be the major part of your diet starting from a couple of days. And just bear with me, I'll just fix this. Yeah. So the method that I have already introduced in my book. Sorry, just jiggling technical issues with kids. Just the wire. Okay. Yeah. So here I have soaked. We have some mung beans, and since Governor Prabhu just announced it last night, so I soaked them with this afternoon. But they still need some more time to be soaked, which is about 10 to 12 hours. But I'm still going to put them into the cloth and show you what is the exact process. And then this is I have some garbanzo also, and then I have some horse gram. It's a very traditional grain, kultil it's called in Ayurveda. It has a lot of nutrition value, which I'll be making a video later after this workshop. And then I'll be soaking quinoa, some flax, and some other grains. So, and then this is the kind of cloth. Usually I get it from India. It's muslin, but it's not as thin as like if you go to the grocery, you think the cheesecloth, it has a lot more, the cloth that you find, it has a lot more gaps in between, where this does not have, you know. I'll kind of post a description. So I'll just read the procedure. It's like after soaking to the respective hours mentioned with the picture, make a knot and place them. Wait, I have a procedure which talks about why are we using the cloth method and not the jar method. So this method really nullifies the chances of having molds or having your sprouts, like you might have experienced sometimes you're in the process of sprouting, they have kind of a smell, like they kind of going bad instead of sprouting. So this process actually prevents of having any of those chances. And I would just like to read a little bit of introduction from my own book, so that those who have missed reading the process would still get the understanding. Sprouting is happiness. Sprouting is a beautiful symptom of life. Once you learn the art of sprouting, you will enjoy it so much that you would love to incorporate sprouts in your daily or weekly meals. In our family, we have meal plans where we have sprouted grains and seeds in at least twice or two. Actually, I would say with the Chandrayana Vrata, 2 to 3 times in a week. It is vegan. It is a wonderful source of vitamins, minerals, proteins, which are just about to, when seeds are just about to sprout, they are very tender, juicy, and nutritious. Sprouts are very easy to digest and full of juices, full of prana. That is what it means. Sprouts are very rich in pranic energy, infusing us with prana. So one of the important things that I like to emphasize when people ask me what to eat, I would say first how to eat. How to eat in the sense, what is the process of the cooking, like when it is cooked and how long. So eating fresh food, fresh cooked, is what is important in order to get the right fuel for your body. Which I mean is that when you eat the food, are you feeling lethargic or are you feeling energetic? Are you feeling lazy or sleepy, or are you feeling that, or you have a spurt of energy and you can, you know, there is a shelf full of books which has not been organized for a long time, and I feel, oh, my mind is so clear, I'm not feeling foggy, and I want to get accomplished more and more work. So that's what is the pranic food. When the food that you eat, which is full of prana, which is freshly cooked, and it's still like nice and steaming, and the sprouts are like fresh. So that's the food that really gives you energy. So that's an important, my kids are all over the place. So that's what is very important. And sprouts are incredibly healthy. They are the best brain food. So one of the main deficiencies that usually the modern sciences complain is the deficiency of vitamin B12, and the modern sciences emphasis that it's, you only get it from animal fat, or you get it from, you know, you have to have the dairy. the heavy cheese or the poultry. The B12 is a lot in monk sprouts. When you sprout them, you get B12. And the deficiency of B12 is also one of the main cause of facing anemia and like bones, like issues of those. And then there are some other health issues which are main causes deficiency of vitamin B12. So they are there in monk sprouts. This, and anytime, like whenever I feel that I am lacking a lot of nutrition in my diet and I'm feeling weak, part of my postpartum and also still nursing, and I start eating sprouts, it makes a lot of difference in my day. And I would I would sprout, like this is like 2 cups, and they're soaking. They will be another 4 to 5 hours. It'll be like quite double, and then this much sprouts is good for me for me, my family, for like 2 days of meal, like one lunch like tomorrow and then day after tomorrow. So, and that really takes care of how I feel an overall day. So this is something very important that you want to incorporate in your diet as you slowly see your bodies are now into the fasting regime. And it's like first week was very difficult trying to set into it. And the second week you kind of slightly feel that your body is adjusted, and the like the body was the only source of energy that your body was looking for was your stomach, not identifying the system that there is so much food and fat in the different regions of the body that it can digest and make you feel more energized. So that was the second week, the shifting. And then you had the moon where it's new moon. So then you give a complete break. So this is such a wonderful science. It's an existing science for ages, and everybody have practiced this. And now when you will slowly shift, now you'll have the smoothies and you slowly shift into a good diet. You want a lot of prana. You want a lot of minerals and a lot of vitamins and a lot of freshness in your food, lots of juices. And that's why we are doing this workshop, that we want to emphasize on you sprout, and this is so easy, and you will have such good connection with your food. Cooking is another great therapy. It's another great meditation, trying to touch your grains, soak them, process them, prep them, and then you cook. That accomplishment is so much of joy and happiness. So now you will incorporate about doing the sprouts as well. Okay, and then I'll just show you the books, the book picture, like where I have introduced all the soaking. You can go to the page number 74 whenever you are going to sprout, and all the grains when they are soaked about 10 to 12 hours, 12 to 14 hours, some of them. And then I'll show how to tie, and then later I'll be making a video of all these grains, like in what do you call it? It'll take me around 48 hours of process, and I'll take videos and clippings of all those, how they are sprouting, and I'll post it. So I'll show how to tie it into this cloth, but I'm just trying to, if any of you have not like really opened the book yet in this section, you see the cloth acts like the dirt in the nature, the action of why you tie it tight. So when you put the seeds into the dirt and you cover them, they are in the dark, and there's a lot of nice warmth and the earth and the nature. So when the seeds are tied together tight, so there is less chances of them exposed to other what do you call, the air, the bacteria or fungus to like kind of slowly, the molds to grow in, actually the grounds for the molds to grow in. So that is not there, and then they are tight, intact together, and then they are covered. And then here in the glass, like I have set, you see like little water which goes down. So what happens is, once I tie, I'll show you now, once I tie, they are wet. So they are good for another 10 hours, not to open them and not to see them. So then after 8 to 10 hours, usually I put it, I know that I'm not going to use the oven for, another couple of days. And whenever I use the cooktop, it just kind of gives the right atmosphere, the right warmness for the sprouts to really sprout very nicely. So I put them in the oven. And after 8 to 10 hours, if I see if my cloth is really dry on the outside, and then I will just put like 2 tablespoons of spring water or filtered water or alkaline water, just to make it enough wet, just like you put the sprouts and you just have to slightly water, then you put the seeds in the ground. So similarly, you just water them. And I don't know if you can notice in the picture, like I have real big sprouts and they're like the roots are coming down because it's looking for the dirt to ground. So you have a lot of long sprouts and they all really sprout very well. And then slowly you open them and you open each of them. Like there's one picture of this. I think in this image you can see the roots. Let me pin my video so that you can see it in the bigger screen. There we go. So you see the roots. So those inside are really nice big sprouts with a lot of prana and a lot of juices into it. And then here is the fenugreek, and I have recipes of the fenugreek in the book. And then here is the quinoa, really big sprouts. They really come out so nice and they're very nice and juicy. And then they're great to make into any nice salad. And what else? One more. Yeah, and there is beautiful, the black turns into purple and they're very gorgeous beans. And sprouting makes it, usually some of the beans, they have a lot of vata, means a lot of air, which can make you like gassy and like bloating and things like that. But when they are sprouted, and then there is another recipe that I'm going to post about the beans soup where you season with dill seeds and celery and a little ginger, where it nullifies the vata aspect and then makes you more digestible and you get all the protein that you need to get it from. And now in short,
it looks like someone texted in the group that they are waiting to join this call.
Oh yes, thank you.
Mataji, there are some questions in the chat window also, somebody asked.
Yeah, I'll get into the chat. 1 second, I'll just get to this process. Let me in the chat. Where to buy this kind of cloth? I recommend you go to Sprouts, and Sprouts have those little similar pure cotton cloths. And if you want, I will like post a picture of things that I have had earlier, and now because I go to India and I have access to getting this in like bulk, and then I cut them into pieces. But those are the ones that I've always used, and I would like to share that link into the group. And there is some available on Amazon.com, and they are specially called as sprouting bags. So I will text those too.
Thank you, Mataji.
One question.
Yes.
Can we use those cotton cloth instead of muslin if we don't have?
No, not exactly the muslin. It's like cotton cloth only. The muslin, the cheesecloth, cloth, they have so much air gaps that you will have less rate of sprouting.
Okay.
Yeah. You want the cloth to be like firm, like you see, like this doesn't have any gaps. Like the muslin, you could see through. If I was holding like this, you could see through. Okay. If it is thin, you see, you can't see through. So they are really, they are like the active process of having the effect of how the seeds are going to be in the soil. And mung sprouts cook fast, but chickpea sprouts take long. So chickpea sprouts, when you will make the chickpea sprouts, you bake them, use the baked falafel recipe from the book, and then incorporate the moringa greens into the recipe. And if you don't find moringa leaves, you can find the moringa powder from the Amazon, and you put that and you make the moringa falafel, which is good substitute. And that recipe is there in the book. Maybe I should just open the book and show you the recipe. Yeah, chickpea needs to be cooked. Yeah, there we go. The splatters here. So here is the splatter. So when they are sprouted, they are soaked. Soaked still has still a little heavy on digestion. But when they are sprouted, they are easy on digestion. They are very juicy, and then you blend them into the food processors with other ingredients and adding the moringa. Moringa is a lot of iron. It's very cooling, and it also nullifies the air elements. So when you like bring the combination, it's going to be a perfect protein, minerals, and antioxidant packed splatters, you know, because everybody likes chickpea, but with protein comes gas and bloating. So you want to nullify those effect and you get the nourishment of it. So that recipe is there in the book. I hope you got the answer about the this. And nutritional value is different for different beans. Yes, all are different. So this is vata, this is protein. Mungs are protein, but they are not vata. They are cooling. They are have a lot of digestive enzymes, more minerals, and then energy boosting. And then the horse gram, it's a wonderful grain. It is supposed to say, like, I don't know. I will tell you something. My grandmom told. Whenever we had any of the kids had a chicken pox or smallpox, this was our diet, because this helped the body to have enough immunity to recover faster. So we made, the sprouts were made, and then they were churned into our the traditional Indian pancakes and the steamed idlis. And I have the recipe coming in my superfoods for the kid. So this was a very staple food for us going through the season, especially into the winter, when the kids have like the tendency to have more mucus secretion and getting into illnesses, various illnesses like children's illnesses. So this was like a very important grain into our diet, and I do it for my kids as well. So I'll be sprouting them, and it will be incorporated into the video that I'm going to make later, because these will be sprouting, and then so that I can show you the whole process. I have vata constituency. Which beans should I avoid? You should avoid garbanzo completely. Instead of garbanzo, you have, if you still like the taste of it, you want to take the kala chana, the black garbanzo, which are very small, and they have the similar amount of protein with less vata, and they're considered even more healthy than those. And especially the kidney beans and the butter, the big lama beans, if you're eating. And if you have vata, the thing is, if you know that you have your vata constitution is, or you are another prakriti, you are kapha, you have more volume and earthy, but your vata is aggravated, where you have more headaches and ear aches and then body aches and joints and everything. So whenever it happens to have that, you have like beans, which is cooked for everybody in the family. So you have like black salt, or you cook with ginger, and or either you have cumin teas and cook in sesame oil. Sesame is vata nashaka, which means it destroys the vata. So when you cook in sesame oil, it is going to kind of help you not feeling your vata is aggravated and giving you all those symptoms of sickness related to aggravation of vata. Can we use green peas? Yes, whole green peas dried, soak them and sprout them. And any questions? Let me check. Can we use cotton handkerchiefs? Yes, cotton handkerchiefs. Yeah, that is also good. And is there one more? Okay. Where to buy moringa fresh leaves? Do you have any Asian store nearby your home, or like in 30 minutes of radius? Look for.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, so you just try those, because usually they have all of them will have most of the Indian and Mexican vegetables, the Indian white radish, and they will have the lauki, the bottle gourd, and they'll have the karelas, and they will have the moringa leaves, and they also have the arvi leaves. Those the arvi root, when it's planted, it brings that big heart-shaped leaves and all those leaves. So I have found those stores who have the Asian kind of leaves, they definitely have moringa most of the time.
So, Mataji, moringa is the drumstick, right?
Drumstick leaves. Yes.
Drumstick leaves. Yeah, because
Yes.
we find drumstick, but we don't find moringa leaves in Asian groceries over here. There's like drumsticks, you find tons of them, but you
Right.
don't find their leaves.
And
It comes
drumsticks.
without the leaf.
So you know what, Prabhuji, there's also, they are available on Amazon, and I will share the link in the group.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I have a, maybe I'll also show you the dry powder. 1 second. Let me just get it. Here. Here, I got it. I'll just show you. So this is the one I really like. That's the screen is reversed. It's Anthony's moringa leaf extra fine, which is very good for all the recipes because I use it into kids baking, and it has a very nice consistency of you know, if you can just if you're using it into baking, I just shift it into the flour and it gives a great consistency. So you know, I'll share the picture. I think the text is you know, you have to read the other way around, but it's Anthony's moringa leaf, and it's powder.
And it's available in Amazon?
It is available in Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah. So this, and so my moong, as they still need a little more soaking, you can like see like they're still hard, and so does my other grains, but the garbanzo looks fine. So here, let me see. Okay, that's good. So I have a big strainer and I have a bowl underneath, and here is my cloth, which is going to be functioning like a seeds into the dirt. And here we go. And some of them express that they didn't have 100% result of good sprouting. It's because they might have not been tight enough. So there it goes, tight. Into this, this is good and wet enough. And later I'm going to like place it into another into another bowl, or like the glasses that I've showed, I have those, and I will make them stand like this, and they will be in a dark place, not in the sunlight, not where everybody can see it. Just like once you put the seeds into the dirt and you are just waiting from the top, you are never going to dig into the dirt and see if they are sprouting. You will definitely just wait. So they'll be in the dark, and when you open and if you see they look very dry, you will definitely see roots in about 12 to 14 hours, but they still need to have longer roots. So then you will just like taking like fresh water, like take a tablespoon and just pour water enough that you see like how it's looking wet right now, like that. They should look wet, and then close the door of the oven or the dark, place, the drawer where you're going to place these. So that's how you will do with all the grains. And this is going to be a normal routine for you as you slowly, what do you call, finish Chandrayana Vrata and then get into a very healthy diet. And you will see with this sprouting, you will notice that how overall you're feeling a lot more energetic and a lot more lightness into the body, because you are eating the fresh prana. And please do not forget, offer all the wonderful grains to Krishna. Remember the Lord, that he's the provider, and the moon being the supremely uh, uh, potent Lord to create this digestive juices and the taste into the grain. So the process of photosynthesis is just providing the growth to the plant. You are growing, but the main idea why the ginger is having the taste, and why the cherries have their taste, and why the asparagus has a little different taste, and why tomatoes are tangerine, why oranges like tangerine, why bananas are so nice and creamy. All those juices, all those flavors are due to the moonlight, and very responsible for our minds. And hope you all incorporate this wonderful sprouting method that is also mentioned in the book. And I think a video was helpful than just a text presentation to a video presentation of how you make it tight. And you're always free to ask more questions, either in the chat, email, or even a phone call. And please incorporate sprouts as much as possible as you slowly get into, from the fasting region to eating grains, and seeds, the chia seed, all those things. So this will amplify your overall benefits of the Chandrayana Vrata. Not only that, you will notice that how this complete change in the diet shift has changed your mind, your body, and overall your spiritual potency of advancing more into yoga and meditation practices. And if there are any more questions, can you please share the link? Yes, I will. So I'll just share the one from the Amazon, because I think due to the COVID-19, not everybody can rush to the store whenever they want. So I will put that. Once they are sprouted, do we eat them raw? You saute. So Ayurveda represents like anything that there has to be. There is one nice thing that my husband says is the Agni Samskara, the digestive fire. Like the very reason that you feel hungry is the Vaishwanara Agni. The fire is the Lord Vishnu. So anything you offer, so even your hunger, even satisfying the hunger could be a wonderful devotional service by putting the right fuel, putting the right kind of diet into your belly. So you are serving Krishna even by eating. Wait 1 second, I'll show you the sprouts recipe. We really often make it and we really like it so much. It's on page number 19. And it's made with nice turnip greens. And if you don't have turnip greens, you can use a spinach and others. So there's you slightly saute them. So what happens is, like, the process is just 3 minutes. The process of saute is not that you're going to cook it entirely into the seasoning. What happens is, like, when you just saute a little bit, and you immediately notice after you offer it to Krishna, when you eat it, you can see that there is so much more juices in the sprouts, and the salt makes the enzymes like really come out. And what happens is they really digest 100%. They really digest very well. So this is an important recipe that you really want to start with. If you will, you sprout, and it will be best to start today, because I think when you start the first day of the meal, 2 days before, you can soak the sprouts after the smoothie and the other.
So we start on day after, like not tomorrow, but day after.
After, yeah. I think you have like 3 days of smoothies to the waxing of the moon.
Only one.
One day. 1 day. Okay, because everybody has a different diet chart, so I
Yeah.
didn't wanted to like claim on any particular diet right now. So those, and then if you haven't tried the applesauce is also very much energy giving, and this could be another wonderful recipe. It's a main part
સીધી
of
બેસી જમ ને શાંતિથી આવી રીતે ના બેસે કમર દુખાય.
Okay, all right, anybody has any more questions that I can help with?
Yes, Mataji, you go ahead.
Some questions in the chat.
In the chat, yes, if you want to make the sprouts into a curry, yes, please, welcome to do so. Cook it nicely, and with some gravies, and put in some coconut, ginger, and can you not put salt in the sprouts when you salt? Yeah, you can put little salt, pink salt. Yes, yeah, you have to taste it.
No, Mataji, I mean, is it okay if you don't put salt?
Yeah, don't put salt. If you don't want salt,
Okay,
don't
okay.
put it. Yeah,
Okay,
not
okay.
important. See, most of my recipes that I even posted, some of my friends said, Sundari, we needed a little extra salt. I said, no, the main important aspect of having medium sodium in your diet is in Ayurveda, you must taste the particular vegetable, the taste of it and the flavor of it. So when you put salt, which like covers all the taste, it's really not giving you all the benefits. And second aspect, salt is a important aspect where it can aggravate all kapha, pitta or vata dosha. So that's why 3 salty meals, even if your breakfast is salty, even if your lunch is salt and dinner is salt, so you always feel more heavy and more the food is still digesting and processing, things like that. So that's why when you have little less sodium, little less salt, you taste the food better and you digest better. Yeah.
Can we use a sprout soup recipe here? Sprout soup recipe.
Yeah, you can use the sprout soup recipe, and it has a little tangy ripe tomatoes in it, and you don't want to use it in the beginning, but it has mint. So I would just like to adjust the gravy where it says you can do the mint leaves, the ginger, the black pepper, and you can make the gravy either with coconut or almonds or peanuts. And then after the whole process, the recipe, then you can just add a dash of lemon juice to it, and it'll taste very nice. And the mint and the sprouts, they are a wonderful, tasteful, flavorful recipe. And then there is the sprout salad, which I showed, and then there is a lot of baked items, and the fenugreek. Bitter and estrogen. So when you eat bitter, it pacifies the vata and pitta. Bitter things are very medicinal. So that's why the fenugreek, and fenugreek is also one of the wonderful Ayurvedic remedies for diabetes, for indigestion, for bloating, for gas and acid refluxes, where you feel the food doesn't settle in and you keep belching on the whatever spices or the food, like you keep getting that into your tongue because your digestive system is not good. And I want to show that image. So, but because the fenugreek are very bitter when you just eat, so people feel like, oh, it's too much, I can't eat it. So I made one recipe which makes it very palatable, and I have variations of it. So I'm just wanting to show that. So
when we soak fenugreek seeds, the bitterness is gone.
No, it is still there. Like many of them have said, that is still there when you cook. It's mildly still there. And when you rinse it, actually, like before using, when you rinse it, when they sprout, they are bitter. But if they are converted into plant, that's when the bitterness is like almost nullified. But when I'm talking, it's like just like the mung sprouts. They are not yet into having leaves and plants. They are not even microgreens yet. So that's the sprouts I'm talking about.
Page number 96.
Yeah.
Fenugreek sprouts, spice balls.
Yeah.
Mataji, is it called that methi, right?
Methi, fenugreek methi.
Yeah,
Methi. 96, I found it. Okay.
So we get fenugreek seeds at Indian stores, or?
So here, and I have a recipe here. I'm using the red potato, and then I have another post on my Facebook. I'll share it, where I use the butternut squashes. Like I use the squash and then steamed it and then cooked it until it's tight and tender. And then I saute the fenugreek and put into it and then make into this delicious ball. So there is a little bitterness, there is a little mashy taste, there's a little spice, and there's a little tangy. And sometimes I add little jaggery. It's an important superfood. Although sugar is kind of becoming like a devil demon into the modern world, but according to Ayurveda, all the ingredients, like everything, all the taste have its place. So sweets also have their place in it, and more than the processed sugar, we use a lot of jaggery in our diet. So that's one thing. And then we have the beet salad, and so these are some really wonderful recipes that I really request all of you to please incorporate. And if you have any doubts and any confusion, or you need a substitute, if you have ever noticed that you did not digest or had any allergies, previous noticed allergies due to any of the ingredients, and healthify your diet and make
Mataji, where do we keep the cloth, the sprouts in the cloth? Do we keep it in an airtight container, or where do we keep it?
You will keep it. See, for my kitchen, I keep them in my oven, but my oven is not on. And if you think that you're going to use your oven, and it's more often like tomorrow you want to use it, so I have a drawer where it's empty and it's dark, and it's a place where I will not keep opening or closing it. It's like a clean place, and I put it. And now I'll take a picture of how I've kept them, and then I will like that picture and the video will.
So you put it in a vessel? Do you put it in a vessel and then?
Yes, yes. If you see the picture, like I have these like big glasses that I use, like the long ones. Just any kind. You just want to make the mechanism work, but you can use anything. But the idea is that if I'm adding the extra water, and if the cloth is soaking into the water, there is chances of them having molds or having some something bacteria growing, and they can have some smell. But what happens with this is, see all the water, you see the colors of the water, see all the water went down, and this gives like the 100% of sprouting, and then zero chances of them going bad. So you can use, like, even if you have a strainer like this and you don't have a bowl, like if you have a big strainer, like I was sometimes, like if I don't have enough, so here goes one cloth, and I will, like I have, like I think my horse gram is very less, it's just 1 cup. So another cloth, I can fit another cloth over here, right here, and then I will cover them and put them in like that.
And then put this in the oven.
Yeah, put them in the oven because it's going to be dark. And if you want, just to make sure like nothing falls on it, you can like cover it with another, like, what do you call, maybe the kitchen towel. Okay. A little covering so that it's nicely covered, because sometimes like the oven, sometimes like if you had like pre-baked something and it has its flavors and oils and spices in there and the smell. So one of the reason where you have the refrigerator has that special baking soda that you put in, so that your fruits and everything, like, you don't see it, the micro but there is chemical reaction all over the nature in everything that is placed next to next. See, the avocados should not be with the potatoes, and the greens should be so that kind of a thing. So you just want to cover it nicely so that it's it's preventing all the flavors and the juices not interacting with the things like that.
So Mataji, one more question, a couple of questions actually. When you are tying the cloth or when you are tightening the cloth, do you recommend us to use a rubber band or something?
The weight, see, the weight.
Yeah, once you twist it, as much as you can twist it. Okay.
Twist, weight, the weight of it, it's locked.
Okay, okay.
It's locked.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And second question I had, Mataji,
And then second option, if you think you're not so pro of doing this, somebody doing it for the first time. Okay, I don't know what's the right thing. Here we go. 1, then the 2, and then all 3 here. This is our potli, the sprouting.
Yeah.
So,
Mataji, thank you. That answered my question.
okay.
And second question I had was, you mentioned about cooking or making into curry.
Yeah.
So, Mataji, what's your thought on when we make the curry? That time we have to cook these sprouts little longer. Does at that time does this sprout loses any nutrition?
No. They will not lose any nutrition, and actually, when they are sprouted, they take less time cooking. It's opposite.
Oh, awesome. So okay, so means you could boil it or cook it also. Okay.
Yeah, but then they cook faster actually. The sprouts, they digest better. No, they digest faster and they also cook faster. Like for example, if you just soaked and pressure cook the mung beans, or you put it in your instant pot, the regular ones will take longer, but the sprouts will take less time.
Thank you, Mataji. That answered my question also. And one more question my wife had was, you mentioned in the recipe it's a bowl. So one bowl is equivalent of what? 1 cup, 2 cup, or serving?
Which one?
No, just in general. Like a lot of things say, have a bowl of this or a bowl of that. What constitutes a bowl? Is it like half cup?
So if you soak 1 cup, the American standard 1 cup of sprouts. So this is 2 cups, and it's still going to raise more.
So that I understand.
Yeah.
But like in the food we're eating,
Mm-hmm.
it says have a cup of this.
Yeah.
What is a cup? I mean, it says have a bowl of soup. What is
Mm-hmm.
what do you constitute as
So
a
the bowl, if I have to really give the measurement of my food for the soul standard of bowl, I'm talking about anywhere the soup that you consume to be between 15 to 20 ounces.
in one meal?
15 to 20 ounces, like minimum, like 15. See, like people's hunger and the way of eating is different. So the 15 ounces is, for some people, is like I am full, and for some people is like I need more. So like anywhere between 15 to 22 to 22 ounces should be your main course of meal, and then you have little sides and salad. So that's a real complete wonderful meal. Like it's light, the soup is light, and then you have some satisfaction, because sometimes it's like you are not hungry but you want to crunch on something, you want to snack on something, and you want some little different textures in your tongue. That's why Ayurveda is like all about like the sweet, sour, pungent, sugar, and then taste the flavors, and you crunch it, or it is mushy, or is it creamy, so that kind of a thing. So my recommendation is like, even my smoothies, like I recommend 16 ounces, the normal mason jars, or up to 20 to 15 to 22. That should be your scale. And beyond 22 would be over, like what do you call it, it could be considered as like taking extra than your body needs, and then it makes you the lethargic, it takes longer to digest. But as far as my experience and my suggestion would be sticking to that much, if you are really measuring like the 1 cup or the 1 bowl. So that would be the standard of measuring your meals, of how much calories you gain and how much protein you gain out of it. And then all those units of measurement depends upon the ingredients of what are you eating. Is it quinoa, is it rice, is it brown rice, is it buckwheat, or is it just squashes and soups, which is protein but it is less on diet, it's not having so many carbohydrates, which makes it easier on digestion and makes you lighter but still gives you the energy. So that will be like variation according to the recipe, the ingredients, and is it soup or is it like a cooked grain and things like that. So
Thank you.
Welcome. And I'm
Mataji,
feeling
one question, Mataji.
yes.
So on the saute for this sprouts, I mean, you mentioned turnip, but can we add any other vegetables instead of turnip?
Yes, I said you can have spinach, you can have the carrot greens, or you can also have the collard greens and the Swiss chard. You know.
Okay, basically
so those,
greens.
Yeah, the greens are very important with the recipe.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you like kale, I'm not a great fan of kale. I just like the baby kale. I feel the big kale has a strong taste, and if I put, my kids don't even touch it. So when you have kids, like you don't want to cook too many items and still want to cook where everybody can eat. So kale is, if you like the kale, you incorporate. If you don't have young kids, but if you have kids, it's a little tricky. So, but the turnip greens have a kind of a nice flavor which goes well along with the recipe, and so that's just my personal touch to why I'm choosing these greens.
Can we eat every day, Mataji, different kind of sprouts?
Of course.
Okay.
Yes, that will be great. You'll become your own homegrown farmer, and you will see that you will make less trips to the grocery stores because you will always have the fresh, the sprouts and the greens, and all you will need is like some nuts and spices and gravies and some cilantro, or if you want to do basil seasoning, or if you want to do parsley, and if you want to like have all those different herbs, like there is one version where I'm using the mint into the mung sprouts. So try with basil, try with parsley, and try with I have another I'm a great fan of sage, but the sage needs little cooking and the different flavors, but if you're using sage, I would say use it in the saute to really fry, like just like you use the curry leaves, the Indian curry leaves. So the sage should be nicely infused into the oil to flavor the grains. So use those herbs, and you will like it, so that you feel, oh, I'm not eating only the same turnip greens or the same mint sprouts. I am having different flavors with it, different taste with it, but the same ingredient, and keeping it healthy and wholesome.
Mataji, there was one more question in the chat saying that what are green grams?
Mung beans. The green gram is with the husk, the yellow mung that you eat. They are shelled, and then it's now they are whole grain. So this is green gram. This is the mung, the green gram, the mung sprouts. They call it mung over here, and but it's the same dal. So this is green gram. Yes, the mung, and the mung dal is, the yellow mung dal is after this is the peels, the shell, like the husk is gone and the inside, and it's split. Like this one is soaked, so this is split. So that's your yellow mung dal. If I take the skin out, and I am feeling hungry now. You can have some chia lemonades, and I hope you had your smoothie too, and just few more days and you will have more all wonderful things incorporated. You're making us go hungry. I'm sorry, that's not my intention. No, so that's not my intention. I'm just preparing you all to incorporate all these things into a diet very soon. So this was the time to do it, because in a day you need 2 days to get into the process of soaking and then sprouting. So I had to do it today. Right. So
yeah, I had a question.
Yes.
I'm checking on Amazon, I was looking for mung beans in our local store, and then I seen just mung. Is that the same or not?
If you want to send me the picture.
Okay,
yeah,
I can.
Yeah.
Because then they have split and they have yellow and green, and it's to me so new.
You don't want to get the split ones. You want to get the whole mung, and can I just show the grain? I'll just show you the grain. The mung, give me in a hand. The mung, yellow, green. Yeah.
So the spelling is same. You can use M-U-N-G or M-O-O-N-G. I mean, she's asking M-U-N-G and M-O-O-N-G.
I think M-U. I think See, some places, like there's some websites which say MONG, and there are some places where they call MUNG.
So it's the same. Okay.
That is the same. So now look at this. Like I got it from my India Market Cafe, and they spelled it MOONG.
Okay.
And then I have seen places where they call it MUNG. But this is what they are. So English is a little tricky word.
Right.
In India, we call it mung. So, any other questions? So the tea on 26th. Should we soak tomorrow? Yes, if your diet chart shows that you are starting to eat a meal in another 3 to 4 days, yeah, it'll be best to start tomorrow morning and then you soak. Oh yeah, so my yoga teacher is recommending you can start today. So I would go with his words. You can start, which means you can soak tonight and then you have 48 hours for them to sprout, which is the best time if you have. And see, if you are in the East Coast and you have your temperature really matters in sprouting. So if you are in the East Coast and you are still like into cold atmosphere, and even in your house, like if you're keeping your temperatures, like people have different people like, oh, I need 72, otherwise it's hot. And some people are into, they keep their air conditioning into 70. So then your sprouting might take a little longer. And if you are into, if you're on this side, like on a PST, it's really warm and crispy, sunny outside, so my sprouts come out faster. But when I was doing it in East Coast, when in cold weathers, it took longer. So weather is another aspect, and give it more time if you are in some of the cold regions. And yeah, I really like the oven idea, because what happens is, although I'm not using oven, I don't turn on, I don't keep it warm. No, I don't do any of those. But I'm using the cooktop. I'm cooking, I'm boiling my teas, and I'm cooking my khichdi and everything. So that heat, that is just enough to keep it warm, slightly warm enough to the best atmosphere for the sprouts to grow.
Mataji, quick question.
Yeah.
When you said that put it in the oven, means, and since we are from Boston and it's a cold, it's still not that hot here.
You're right.
So will you recommend, can we start the oven for a few minutes and then put the sprouts in and switch the oven off? Will that be all right?
If you haven't used your oven for days, so yeah, you just bring it and then you like maybe up to preheat like only like 200, but turn it off. Like you do it in the evening, turn it off, and it should have been couple of hours for it to come to a warm atmosphere, and then your sprouts go in.
So once you turn it off, can we at that time directly put the sprouts
No,
in?
wait for an hour at least.
Wait for an hour.
Yeah, that is way too warm. It is, you just need that 200 so that the entire oven is, like it's not in your present cold, the house temperature. It's warm by itself, and that's good for the sprouting.
Awesome. Thank you.
And any other questions? So we eat on 26th. Yes, you can start soaking tonight, so you have at least 48 and more hours. And as long as you are pouring a little extra water, they will keep sprouting, and the roots, as shown in the image, they will penetrate out of the cloth. And feel free to just use all those cloth and just wash them nicely. And first you like rinse them nicely, because all the sprouts kind of get into it, and nicely pull off all the sprouts, and then rinse them off. in the kitchen sink, and then separately, wash them. If you're putting them in the washer, just separately wash them in a small load. And once you once you wash them in that, then again rinse them in cold water in your sink, and then dry them. Think something like that. Or yeah. So I keep reusing them most of the time, the cloths. And it's okay if sometimes they have little, like the green gram will make a little stains on it, the green fresh color, like from the sprouts and everything, but it washes away, and it's good to use again. So and the Amazon, the sprouting bags, like they have like a little knot on it to tie and make it tight. So I'll share those too. And yeah, as long as they're washed and cleaned again, they are again good to use. So you can keep sprouting, like you had, like you sprouted 3 to 4 greens, and then you 3 to 4 seeds or grains, and then you are good for 3 to 4 days, and then you again sprout some, and then you have more sprouts for next days for your meal. So like that, you keep circulating you make a meal plan, and you decide like which beans, seeds and grains you want to sprout, and then decide a recipe. Please use the Food for the Soul as a handbook reference for recipes, and feel free to substitute. You used mint in this recipe, okay, let me try basil now, let me try the fresh parsley into it, or the dry parsley. The parsley has very nice aroma, and I'm using a dry mint into this recipe because it gives more flavor and the aroma to the recipe. And hope this was helpful. And happy Chandrayana Vrata to all of you. And let's get, like, in next 2 to 3 days, you can start eating the sprouts once you started tonight soaking. And yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions? Hare Krishna. All right. Thank you. So I'll end the meeting now. It was really nice and very inspiring to see all of you. And we'll have more group sessions and more personal classes. And whatever you're feeling and whatever you're experiencing, if you really like, please post it in the group. It might inspire another person who might be having a difficult time with his mind and senses. So whenever you're feeling good and you feel, just having that patience and just having that mood of uplifting yourself to this, phases of the moon, you will inspire another person. So we really love seeing all of your posts, all of your experiences. It is great. And it is also inspiring me and Governor Trash Prabhu a lot. And thank you for joining, and we'll see you in the next session.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you.